So I want to briefly talk about inflammation because this comes up so often when I'm talking with patients, with prospective patients, people, just in the comments and things like that. And there's two big things that I really want to talk about in relation to inflammation. The first is we have to understand that inflammation is present in us because it's telling us something. Things are happening that are resulting in chemicals being sent out that result in this pain, swelling, inflammation, all of these types of things. So we have to remember that this is a symptom and it's telling us that there's something deeper. Anytime we have that scenario, when we have a symptom that tells us there's something deeper, there's two layers. The first layer is symptom suppression. You can do things, you can take things to make these symptoms temporarily go away without doing anything to the underlying cause. That is where most of conventional medicine for inflammation is targeting. That's where NSAIDs are targeting. So things like ibuprofen, that's where, aspirin, all those other things are going to address, is trying to suppress these symptoms, reduce the prostaglandins from the COX enzyme in order to reduce pain, swelling, inflammation. That only addresses the symptom. It doesn't address why the inflammation is there in the first place. Now that's a lot harder to do. It's difficult to figure out where that inflammation is coming from. That often requires a really thorough workup from a physician or another healthcare professional that is going to look at different systems, whether there is viral in origin, whether there is a more mechanical issue, so you've got a torn meniscus, you've got osteoarthritis, something to that effect, or is there some other damage somewhere else that is contributing to this inflammation? Are you being bombarded by different chemicals and compounds in the food that you're eating, in the water that you're drinking, the air that you're breathing, and that is ramping up the byproducts of inflammation, okay? So when you are looking to address inflammation, you have to understand first and foremost that most of the things that you're going to find online, Tylenol, ibuprofen, all that type of stuff, they're not actually addressing the root cause of inflammation. Now, the hard part is then what do you do about that? This is where it goes back to you have to set up your body to effectively deal with the inflammation. You have to set up your body to heal. So ideally what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to make sure we're getting proper and sufficient sleep. We're getting morning sunlight for a good circadian rhythm. We are drinking enough water and staying hydrated with proper mineral status. We've had other videos on this before. We want to make sure that we're reducing processed inflammatory foods, a lot of inflammatory oils, things like canola oil, remove those from the diet. So that way we have less of that burden coming in. We want to make sure we're getting exercise, movement and exercise, blood flow. And exercise can help because the exercise is going to increase the production of the anti-inflammatory myokines, which can actually combat the inflammation, okay? So there's baseline things that you want to do. Then the other things that we want to think about to help the body resolve inflammation are things like omega-3 fatty acids. So in supplement form, you can get those in fish oils. You can also take the purified form, which are called pro-resolving mediators, which are actually the small mediators that help our body to actually resolve inflammation that are the byproducts of omega-3s from our cell membranes. That can be beneficial as well in certain situations. We also then want to look at vitamin C. Vitamin C is another big way that our body resolves inflammation endogenously. Endogenously meaning coming from ourselves. Then we can get into some of the other things like curcumin. Okay, curcumin can be helpful at reducing inflammation. But we have to remember that a lot of the time, it's still not going to address the underlying deeper root cause. Now, sometimes it can, even though a lot of people think that, okay, we can just swap out ibuprofen for curcumin because they're basically the same, just one's a drug, one's an herb. And that's for the most part right, but there are other interesting properties of curcumin that the curcumin can actually help our body to support a healing process and be healthier along the way such that we have less inflammation overall. It's not just the COX-2 inhibitor that results in less inflammation being produced. Those are just some really basic ideas to get you guys thinking. Obviously, figuring out why you are inflamed is the biggest thing. But even before you do that, cleaning up the foundations of your health, sleep, nutrition, hydration, exercise, social connections, cleaning that up so it's less inflammatory, less crap in there, less junk. Just doing that on itself is going to help the inflammatory status of a lot of people, which can then in turn reduce pain. All right. Hope this one helps y'all. It is Halloween right now. I know this will not be coming out on Halloween, but I hope everybody's staying safe out there. See you later.